Hello and welcome to Enchanted Teacup. My name's Emma and welcome to Enchanted Teacup. The space that I love so much. Okay, so we're back in Enchanted Teacup. I've had a cancellation, so what do? I talk to you guys out there, and also excuse me, bit parched. I'll pop that up there. And also, it's a full moon tonight. It's the 7th full moon of the year, and it is the buck moon or thunder moon. And I've jotted down some bits here. Now, this year thunder moon, this year buck moon, it's all about harnessing the energy of growth and strength. When people talk about growth and strength or growth just makes me groan, because when you're growing, you get growing pains. You normally have to go through a painful process, a process of learning, a process of making mistakes, to get to the point where all of this information, all of these mistakes, all of these errors, all of these growing pains actually come good and you get there. But also with this moon, it's about a tallying up. So you're tallying up where you are at the moment, and it's about releasing what is no longer serving you in order to leave space for new opportunities to come in. Okay, so that's kind of what I've learned about that on the Google. And also on the Google, I learned some interesting facts. I'm just going to go through them quite quickly. But did you know that in 18th century England, people on trial for murder could campaign for a lighter sentence on the grounds of lunacy if the crime occurred under a full moon? Did you know that? I didn't know that, but do now. And also, did you know that when the sunlight hits the surface of the moon, the temperature can reach 260 degrees Fahrenheit? I didn't know that. And when the sun goes down, it goes from one extreme to the other. It hits temperatures of minus 280 degrees Fahrenheit. So one extreme to the other. The moon can be a bit like that. Or sometimes our emotions can feel a bit like that around the time of a full moon. 1 minute, next minute, woohoo. So, yeah, so maybe they had it right in the 18th century. Maybe not. I don't know if that law still stands to this day, but yeah. So, yeah, the full moon. So I was wondering, with this thunder moon, what could we be releasing in order to make space of these new opportunities? So that's what this reading is going to be about. It's going to be what we're letting go and making space for to come in. Yeah, does that make sense? I think so, maybe a little bit. Okay, so I've pre-shuffled because I've tried to do this video before and it keeps running over, so I'm going to talk very quickly and try and get through this and try not to waffle and just have another slurp because I'm so dry. Okay, so are you ready? Right, we've got 3 piles and I've gone back to the usual chestnuts. Pile 1 will be the rose quartz sphere. Do you see that? Rose quartz sphere. Gorgeous. Pile 2, if you're drawn to the rose quartz heart, then perhaps this is the pile for you. Pile 2, rose quartz heart. Pile 3 will be the rose quartz sphere. God, I love that. I love them all. I love them all. So, pyramid, heart, or sphere. And I'm going to put them in the timestamps below. So you can pause, you can reflect, you can do whatever you want. I'm going to move forward. Okay. So for those of you that chose the rose quartz pyramid, this is the reading for you. Okay. Now, right. What we've got here is we've got the Ten of Swords, the Lovers, the Emperor. So that's what's going. And we're making room for the Eight of Wands, the Three of Cups, and the Page of Swords. So we go back to the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is quite a heavy card. The Ten of Swords is about the end of a cycle, but it's about the end of quite a painful cycle. It's normally the end of a cycle, and sometimes it can mean, you know, you've been stabbed in the back somehow. But yes, it's the end of a painful cycle. It's not been good. We've got the Lovers card next to that, which would suggest the end of a painful relationship. And we've got the Emperor next to that. The Emperor is normally, he's normally like the divine masculine energy. And again, the Lovers can be a choice. So I end this cycle, I end this painful cycle, this painful relationship with somebody who embodies the energy of the divine masculine. Now, the Emperor can be a person who is very powerful. They're an emperor, they're in control, they're in charge, they have leadership skills, they have fine qualities. But the shadow side of them can be quite overpowering. There can be an abuse of power, there can be a misuse of power. It can be quite overbearing sometimes. And I think this is what's being let go of. This relationship is being removed to let other things come in. Now, what I did notice with the Lovers and the Emperor was there was a lot of red going on. So I imagine at the beginning of this relationship, it was very passionate in a very good way, you know, very passionate, and all the friction going on was rather nice. Okay. However, we've got to the end of the swords, the end of this painful cycle, and the frictions at the end of this cycle is not the same as the friction at the beginning, if that makes sense. So it's like the moon with the temperatures. At the beginning, 260 degrees Fahrenheit. At the end, minus 280 degrees Fahrenheit. There's a bit of extremes going on here. What a ride. Okay. Yeah, but you're at the end of the cycle, so this is being let go. Great. And it's being let go, and in its place we're making room for the Eight of Wands, the Three of Cups, and the Page of Swords. Yeah. Eight of Wands is fast moving energy. The Eight of Wands is a positive outcome. The Eight of Wands is possibly about new messages coming in, but it's definitely a positive outcome, and it's something that's happening quite quickly. This is a fast moving energy. This is a fast moving card, but look at all those beautiful colors. It's positive. There's a positive outcome here. There's a positive outcome here. And there's the Three of Cups, which is about family, friends, support, community, It's about all the good stuff. The cups are about emotions, and this is about our family being there for us, our community being there for us, our friends being there for us. It's a really beautiful, lovely card. So it's showing you that you have the support that you need to do this, and you'll have the support that you need to move on and go forward. Going on and moving forward, we have the Page of Swords. Now, the Page of Swords is all about having ideas. It's about having a thirst for knowledge. It's about moving forward. So, and it's a higher education. There's something very educational about this. This is about you learning, gathering, doing your research, and moving on in a direction that you want to go in. If we look at this card that was the first card of the reading, it's the end of a painful cycle. Now we have the Page of Swords, which is the next card on in the suit. She's moving on from this, see, from this, and there's a bridge onto better things. Yeah, she's got new ideas, big ideas. She's thinking big, going big, doing big. This is a lot of good stuff going on here. And it is the sword that is being her bridge to help her move on to the next stage. So this at the time may be quite brutal, painful, and hard to go through, but it is this that is giving you the energy, that's giving you the push that you need to go on and cross this bridge into new stuff. So at the time, this will be quite painful, but in hindsight, you'll realise that it was necessary to get you to where you are going, to get you the opportunities. And there are so many opportunities here. So that's good. So we're getting rid of what no longer serves us, which looks like it comes in the form of a relationship. And we're moving on to bigger and better things. And this is all of your making. These are all your ideas. You're moving on with your ideas, with your research, with your education, and you're moving on to something really, really interesting. Something that fires you up, something that you want to do. Okay. So, for those of you that chose the rose quartz heart, isn't that nice? That is really nice. This is the reading for you, the message for you. Okay. Let's go to those. Okay. Right. Because I tried to do this reading before and the technology let me down, I kind of know where I'm at with this. It took me a while to suss it out the first time round, but I've got this. So we've got the Page of Cups, the Sun, the Queen of Swords. And then we've got the Seven of Wands, the Four of Wands, the Five of Pentacles, the Death card. And then I had to pull another card just to clarify, to see where it was going. And we got the Ten of Cups. Now, the Page of Cups and the Sun together are really, really, really beautiful cards. The Page of Cups is kind of young, naive, innocent, and next to the Sun, and it's the cups, so it's love, it's romance, it's unconditional, it's the Sun, it's the best thing going in the world. All of this is available. It's beautiful, it's vibrant, you know, and it's a bit heady and a bit giddy because, you know, you're floating on air. This is a really, really, you know, this is a possibility. This is available to you. However, with the next card, we've got the Queen of Swords, and I'm going from my intuition here. I've got the Queen of Swords here. Queen of Swords is somebody that doesn't like drama, doesn't like BS, they don't suffer fools gladly. But she's had quite a few lessons, and she's I feel that she's very guarded about her heart and about opening that up. She does have the ability to have all these beautiful, wonderful emotions, to feel giddy, to be in the sun, which is only good stuff. But with this card, it's almost like you're holding yourself back from having this. And I think this is the thing that you need to leave behind. You're so guarded about your heart because perhaps you've been hurt before, but you're so very guarded about who you are in your life and your heart, and who gets in or who you let in, or even to where you go or what you do or who you meet. It's very guarded, very defensive. You need to let go of that. It's hard when you've been hurt to say, go out and be vulnerable again, but this is kind of necessary, because if you don't let yourself be vulnerable, so many good things are waiting for you, but you're so very guarded, and because you're so very guarded, you'll make yourself feel so isolated. It's like these wonderful things that can happen to other people around you. It's like, oh, they're not for the likes of me, because you are just so guarded, because your shield and your barriers come down straight away. When the barriers come down, you can't let anything in, but then you can't go out. And with these barriers, with this card, this is the Five of Pentacles. Fives are about change. The Pentacles, the Five of Pentacles is normally about isolation, the feeling of isolation. So there's a feeling here that this is not for the likes of me, and it's a feeling of being isolated because this will never happen. You know, the good, this good, wonderful, loving stuff, because you're so guarded against it. There's with this belief that it will never happen. This is a belief that you need to clear in order to let this in. With this card of isolation, you can see she's out in the cold, feeling very isolated. Oh, you know, this is terrible. Poor me, I'm isolated, I've been locked out. But the key's there. The key's there. You can open that door. You can open that door if you're vulnerable and let the good stuff in. Yeah, you might get hurt again, but you might not. It might be all good, but you need to use that key to open that door. You need to have a shift in your perspective to allow that to happen. And if you do, we've got the card here of death and rebirth. If you have a change of perspective, and this is a big change of perspective, if you say goodbye to that past hurt and finally let go, look, there's a whole nother world in there. There's a rebirth. And with the rebirth and the shift of thinking comes the Ten of Cups. You can have what you secretly desire. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants the Ten of Cups. It's only natural. But all this is available to you. All of this is there. If you would just change your perspective, if you would just let your guard down. So perhaps with this reading and this full moon, in order to have the Ten of Cups, in order to truly feel the love and have the life you want, you have to say goodbye to the guards, to the shields, to the wall. You have to take that wall down brick by brick and get rid of it. And you need to pick up the key and open the door, because you're not isolated. You're not out in the cold. You are worthy of having a good life. You are worthy of having love. You are worthy um, of having relationships that, you know, are fun. You are where, you know, you can have the giddy, the happy, the sunshine. But you have to get out of your own way. And that's maybe what you need to let go of in order to let that in. You just need to have that shift in perspective. And you'll have such a good time if you do. But it's your decision. You have free will. You have choice. Do you want to end this and have rebirth? Or are you just going to stay in this non-existence and feel out in the cold? Whew, that was quite deep and heavy. So if you chose pole 2, which is quite funny because it is the rose quartz heart, that was the reading for you. But we're moving on. We're moving on to the rose quartz sphere, the orb. Oh, I love these rose quartz pieces. I really, really do love them. Really do. There you go. So yes, if you chose that, this is the reading for you. These are all quite heavy today. We've got the devil. We've got justice. We've got the 9 of swords. We have got strength. We have got the King of Wands. And we have the 4 of Cups. Okay. We have the devil, the justice, the 9 of swords. This is what we need to release. So with the devil's normally, the devil signifies patterns in our life that no longer serve us. So there are patterns in our life. There could be in form of perhaps addictions. These things can be very familiar and very comforting, but at the end of the day, they don't really serve us. They don't do us any favours. You know, those few extra glasses of wine, they're not doing you any favour. In my case, those few extra slices of cake, it's not helping you, you know, your health, you know. It could be those few extra bags of shopping, those few extra pairs of shoes. It can be anything like that, but these are like familiar patterns. These are things that bring us comfort. These are things that we use in order to deal with uncomfortable emotions or uncomfortable situations. But really, they don't help the situation. They just make the situation worse. And we've got the Justice card next to the devil. Now, the Justice card, we've got the Justice card next to the devil, and then we've got the 9 of Swords. Now, this would indicate to me that the patterns, the addictions, the familiar things that are giving us comfort, it's out of balance. It's tilted. And it's now to the point where it really, really, those things are not doing you any favours. It's out of balance. It's too much. And because it's out of a balance and it's too much and it's taking over, it's making us, it's the 9 of Swords that's occurring here. The 9 of Swords is about anxiety. It's about sleepless nights. It's just about worry. It's not a good place to be in, but it's because we're not doing ourselves any favours with this one. It's because we've let them go ahead. We've let them get out of balance. We're not doing ourselves any favours. We're kind of our own worst enemy here. We're continuing this. We're making this go on. So What this is suggesting with this new full moon is we go, okay, we're going to go cold turkey. We are going to leave these patterns of behavior. We are going to take these familiar, comforting things that really don't serve us in the long run. They're not doing us any favors. They're not helping. We're going to stop that. Once we have decided to put the balance back in, once we have decided that something needs to be done here, what we'll find is, with this shift, with saying goodbye to this, what we find is, I think this moon is going to give us the strength to be able to do this. We have the strength. The time is right. This is perfect timing because we have the strength. Not only do we have the strength, but we have the King of Wands. And look, the strength is signified by the lion here. And the King of Wands is the lion again. Now, the King of Wands has strength. The King of Wands is about the fire, the passion. This is about the fire and the passion in you, the willingness to go ahead and stop this. This is you carrying the torch on. I want a new life. I want a new light. I'm willing to give up these things that do not serve me, these things that do not make me happy. Now, it's not going to be easy because anything worth doing is, it's about hard work. You don't get anywhere without doing any work. And we have that here with the Four of Cups. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you quickly the Devil, Justice, Nine of Swords. These are all quite dark and quite bleak. There's no colour here. It's not going to bring you any joy. It's all quite negative. It hints on depression and it hints on addiction, because this is no longer, because what we're doing isn't serving us. It isn't bringing us any joy. Yeah, these are dark cards. Look at the colour starting to come back with strength. Look at the colour starting to come back with the King of Wands. And look, here we have the Four of Cups. Now, there is going to be a feeling of loss, because look, this area doesn't have a great amount of colour. There's going to be a feeling of loss and longing for the things that we have left behind, because they were familiar, because they were comforting, because they did kind of hit the spot, but it was just a short-term fix. But the after effects, the negatives, the pros and cons, there was more cons to this familiar comforting stuff than there were pros, yeah? So this is going to be missed. We are going to be a bit fed up. We are going to be wanting to go back there and do that. And yes, we may be looking back on this and wanting this, but look what's here. This is the opportunity that's going to come in. This is the positivity that is going to come in once we make space for it. So yeah, we may be fed up for a while, but look at this wonderful, beautiful opportunity that we will see eventually. It's there, it's in front of us, and look at all the colour coming out of that. Look at all the positivity coming out of that. So this is worth it. So get rid of that and we make space. We get rid of that and we make space for this to come in, and it's going to be good and it's going to be worth it. It's not going to be easy, and yes, it is going to take some work and some effort on your part, but boy, is it going to be worth it, because look at all that colour that will bring in. And yeah, that's had a positive end on all those cards. Gosh, it's been tough, and they've been tricky readings, and yeah, sometimes life isn't easy, but Life is like a room. Once you get rid of all the clutter and all the crap and all the things that, take up space but don't really have any use anymore, once you get rid of all of that, oh, what a wonderful feeling. And it makes space for more, for actually things that can give you joy. It makes space to maybe let more light in. It makes space for opportunity. It does. So there we go. That was the reading for the moon. What is the moon taking away and what is the moon bringing in? The buck/thunder moon. Okay, so thank you very much for being with me today, Enchanted Teacup. And until next time, bye bye.